What's up everybody, welcome back to Smell Good, Feel Good. I'm Cody, and in today's video I'm going to be talking about my 10 favorite signature worthy fragrances for my collection. So stand fast. So before I get into this list, what is a signature fragrance? A signature fragrance, in my opinion, is a fragrance that you pretty much is what you wear most of the time. This is a fragrance that most people are going to recognize you by. Whenever they smell that particular fragrance, they're going to go, oh, that's the one that Cody always wears. It's also generally a fragrance that you can wear year-round, maybe not necessarily on the most extreme of temperatures, so you probably wouldn't wear this fragrance on the coldest of cold days and the hottest of hot days, but it is a fragrance that when the weather is fairly normal, spring, fall, moderate winter, and summer days is something that you could pull off. And then again, if you're in a temperature-controlled environment, then you could wear this anytime. I myself don't really have a signature scent, but I went ahead and made a list that contains 10 fragrances from my collection that if I were to choose a signature scent, these would be those. Alright, so first up in the number 10 spot is a fragrance that has been getting a lot of hype lately because it has been discontinued, and that is Guerlain's L'Homme Ideale Cologne. Now, all of the L'Homme Ideale fragrances have a very recognizable DNA. It is a nice almond fragrance, and L'Homme Ideale Cologne is nice in that it has that standard Ideale almond backbone, but then you have nice citruses in it from grapefruit and mandarin, a little bit of bergamot. You get this nice pink pepper as well, and it's just a very nice fragrance. It is by no means a performance beast, but it is a very soft kind of fragrance, but it is very nice, very relaxing, and very inoffensive. You can still pick these up at discounters, online, and like I said, TJ Maxx or Marshalls, so go ahead and make sure you pick up a bottle of this before they're all gone. Next up in my number 9 spot is a fragrance that a lot of people will compare to Dior Homme Intense, and that is Valentino Illume. Now this is a very elegant type fragrance. I would say this is slightly more of a dressed up fragrance than it is a casual fragrance. And the reason it gets compared to Dior Homme Intense is because it does kind of have that lipsticky vibe to it, but not quite the same. You do get like a little bit of this woody, nutty type scent from it. Some people even get chocolate, a little bit of leather. And then there's a little bit of coffee in there too that makes it a little bit unique. Like I said, some people compare this to Dior Homme Intense. Some people like this more than Dior Homme Intense, and vice versa. So if you are the type of person that likes Dior Homme Intense or that Dior Homme line, then definitely give this one a try. And my number 8 spot is another popular fragrance along with its intense version, and that is Prada Lome. Yes, I know a lot of these on this list I only have samples of, but one day I would love to have full bottles of these. But I digress. Prada Lome is a very nice, soft, powdery, iris and violet type fragrance. You also get some black pepper in there and cardamom. In my opinion, it is a fragrance that can be dressed up or dressed down. Now, like I said, there is an intense version of this fragrance. I have yet to smell that one, but from a lot of people that I've talked to, they actually prefer that one over the original Prada Lome. So I highly suggest you check out both of those. Alright, and my number 7 spot is a fragrance that is beloved by many and hated by very few, and that is Amouage Reflection Man. And yes, again, it is just a sample. Amouage Reflection Man is a beautiful mixture of sandalwood, jasmine. You also get some vetiver in there, and then some citrus notes from things like neroli, and I get a little bit of pink pepper in there as well. It is a very good fragrance that, again, I think this one can be worn dressed up or dressed down. And even though originally it had beast mode performance and it got reformulated, it still has pretty decent performance. And even though I just have a little sample here to show you, the bottle itself is beautiful. Okay, my number 6 spot is a fragrance that I recently discovered. It is by Bond No. 9, and I really only like a few of Bond No. 9 fragrances. I think for the price, a lot of them are just really overpriced for what you get. That's just my opinion. But like I said, there are a handful of Bond No. 9 fragrances that I actually really like. And the one that I think that I have a sample of that is signature scent worthy is Lafayette Street. Now, Lafayette Street is very fresh. It's got a lot of ambroxan in it, and then there's like this green apple note to it. You get a little bit of warmth from tonka and a little bit of vanilla in there, and then you get some woody notes as well. And then you also get just a hint of citrus from some bergamot. This fragrance on my skin also has really, really good performance. It stands up to my test of before I go to bed, I spray a little bit of fragrance on the back of my hand, and then the next day, when I wake up in the morning, I smell the back of my hand, and if I can still smell it, I consider that a very good performing fragrance. In my opinion, this is not the same as Dior Sauvage, but it is a classier version of Dior Sauvage. So if you're somebody who likes Dior Sauvage and you want to step it up a notch and pay a pretty penny, even though you can get it pretty decently cheap on discount websites, I recommend Lafayette Street by Bond No. 9. My number 5 spot is Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Amiris Homme. This is a very unique fragrance to me, and it is very sweet, and there's a lot going on with it, and it's just really well blended. Personally, I can't pick out a whole lot of specific notes from this, but based off of my research, there's, obviously the Amiris flower in it. There's supposed to be mandarin and agarwood, which I get none of. A little bit of coffee and chocolate as well. Tonka, coconut, rosemary, and iris. Now, I guess I get a little bit of that iris. Coconut is a very strange note for me. In some fragrances, I can pick out the coconut like that. In other fragrances, I can't smell it at all. Some fragrances I'll put in and I can smell the coconut. And then other times I'll put on a fragrance and I'm like, well, I don't get any coconut from this. But then other people will smell it on me and be like, oh, I smell coconut. So with this one, I don't smell the coconut, but that doesn't mean it's not there and that other people can't pick it up. Because like I said, some fragrances I can smell the coconut, others I can't. But anyways, this is just a smooth, light, and slightly sweet scent. Is it worth the price tag of a MFK fragrance? In my opinion, no. But if you can find this for a good deal, I definitely recommend it. It also has pretty decent performance as well, at least on my skin. And the bottles of these are beautiful. I almost bought a full-size bottle of this, but then I was like, I don't think it's worth that much, at least retail, because I was going to buy it retail, but I might keep my eye out for something in one of the fragrance groups or online. All right, next up in the number 4 spot is a fragrance that I am probably going to buy a bottle of soon because it's actually for the brand not that expensive to buy online, and that is Aqua de Parma Colonia Essenza. This is a unique fragrance to me because it comes off slightly mature, but not so much that a younger person like myself or whatever, somebody in your 20s, couldn't pull off. It almost has a barbershop type quality to it, but not quite. It's not quite like your stereotypical barbershop type fragrance. This has a lot going on in it. There's a lot of citruses in it. There's a lot of woody type notes. You get like bergamot, neroli, mandarin, orange, and then you also get things like oak moss, which in my opinion is kind of like an old school type note. And that's what kind of gives it this kind of classy scent to it. And then you also get vetiver and patchouli, and then musk. There's just a lot going on with this fragrance. And it's all mixed together, and it's just, I don't know, it's wild to smell, but it's very classy. This is one that I think you could wear dressed up and casually. Even though Aqua de Parma has a reputation for having pretty sad performance with their fragrance. This one actually performs really, really well on my skin. All right, in my number 3 spot, we're talking about top 3 signature-worthy fragrances in my collection. Number 3 spot is something that I really wish I had a bottle of because the bottle and presentation is absolutely gorgeous. One of the nicest bottles I have seen, but maybe one day. In the number 3 spot is Zaher Off Signature Pour Homme. Now, for those of you who have not smelled this yet, I believe you can still go onto the Zaher Off website and get a free sample sent to you, and I highly recommend it. This is... It's like a classic fragrance with a modern twist. Like, I wasn't around, I wasn't born in the 80s, I was not alive in the 80s, but I get slight 80s vibe from this fragrance, but like I said, with a modern twist. It is kind of spicy and citrusy, yet fresh and refreshing at the same time. So you get lavender, you get myrrh, you get a little bit of smoky incense with this. There's also some oud, but it's not like that dank animalic oud. And then you also get cypress and a little bit of sweetness from some vanilla in there. And then just some beautiful rose, just like a very small hint of it. If you're not a rose lover, this is not going to kill you. A lot of people say that Zaher Off Signature Pour Homme has beast mode performance on their skin. For me, I get about average performance on my skin. It's not crazy, but it smells really good. It is kind of a mature fragrance if you are a really young guy, if you're in high school or maybe early 20s. Probably don't want to be sporting this one. I did some tests with people, and a lot of people from my age group, people in their 20s, like the girls, they didn't like it. But women that were in their maybe later 20s or into their 30s and up, they really liked it a lot. And my stepdad generally doesn't get too much of a kick out of fragrances, but when he smelled this, he liked it quite a bit, and I let him borrow the sample for a while, and I think my mom was fixing to buy him a bottle of the fragrance because she really likes it. So again, in my number 3 spot is Zaher Off Signature Pour Homme. Okay, so the number 2 and the number 1 spot was very difficult for me. These could probably be interchangeable, but I have been wearing this fragrance that Amity, my fiance, got me recently for Christmas, and I've gotten quite a few compliments with it. And the crazy thing is whenever I didn't think I could smell this fragrance on me anymore, I thought it was gone, then somebody would compliment me on how I smelled. So let's just go. In the number 2 spot is Dunhill Icon Elite. I really like the design of this bottle. My fiance say it's the trash can bottle because she says it looks like a trash can, and I guess she's not wrong. But I think it looks cool. It's got this nice knurling on it, almost like a barbell. But anyways, this fragrance is very interesting and unique to me because I have never smelled the note of ebony before until I've smelled this fragrance. And on that note, I guess I should get into the notes of this fragrance. This is a year-round fragrance. It's powerful enough that you could wear it in the wintertime, and you could probably maybe not get away with this in the most hot and humid of summer days, but you could totally get away with this in the summertime. So you get a little bit of like a kind of smoky, dark, woody feel from this, from the ebony and the sandalwood and cardamom and like this leathery suede along with some vetiver, but then you also get citrus notes in it that kind of brighten it up and make it feel a little bit refreshing from things like bergamot and lime. And then you get some spiciness in it from black pepper and juniper. And that juniper almost gives it kind of like a throwback type feel for me, but not quite. It's still very modern fragrance. And like I said, on my skin, I get very good performance with this fragrance. And even whenever I thought it was gone, somebody got close to me and then they smelled it and they told me I smelled really good. So, again, in the number 2 spot is Dunhill's Icon Elite. Alrighty folks, in my number one spot, and this was hard, but I just really love this fragrance. Honestly, if there was only one fragrance that I could wear for the rest of my life, I would probably choose this one. It's just very classy, very smooth, and just refreshing to me, yet calming at the same time. It is Tom Ford's Grey Vetiver EDP. There is an EDT version out there, and that one's very good too, but I prefer the EDP version. This is what made me fall in love with vetiver. And this is not a very earthy type vetiver fragrance. This is a creamy, smooth, fresh vetiver with some citrus on top. Not quite as citrusy and bright as the EDT, but it's just smells really good. I love it on rainy days. It is my rainy day fragrance. I don't know why, but just something about the smell of this. It's melancholy, but not in a bad or sad way. It's just, I don't know, man. It just kind of puts me at a just neutral zone. It doesn't freaking make me shoot off into the sky. It just kind of keeps me grounded. I really love this fragrance. In my mind, when I smell this fragrance, and I hope I say his name right, but I think of the actor, I imagine the actor Idris Elba in a freaking black suit sitting in like some CEO office, and that's what I imagine he would smell like in a role like that. But yeah, very good fragrance. You can get it for a pretty decent price online, and I think everybody should have that in their collection. So anyways, folks, I really hope you liked this video. Please tell me down below what you think of these fragrances, and tell me what is your signature scent if you have one. Like I said, I like to wear stuff and mix it up and switch it on a daily basis. I rarely ever wear a fragrance more than 2 days in a row. I have fragrance ADD. But like I said, tell me what's your signature fragrance, and I'll research those fragrances and see what I think of them. And that is that. So, again, thank you very much, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.